a central vacuum system. Your manufacturer has selected for you the world's finest central vacuum fittings, and I'm here today to show you how to install them.
From the company that ships more central vacuum fittings around the world, this is for homes of all shapes, all sizes, and all plans. For at Hayden Manufacturing, we say, where there's a wall, there's a way.
What a slogan.
Every hole
Let's
is a goal.
begin. There are three considerations as you plan your system. Firstly, the location of the power unit. It should be away from the living area, yet handy. Number two, the inlet valves. From them, your hose will have to reach all parts of your home. And thirdly, the location of vacuum lines to connect inlet valves to the power unit. Now, let's go to a typical home to look at some possible installations. This one's a bungalow on a crawl space.
Or a ranch if you're from anywhere else.
If you put the power unit in the crawl space, it would be out of the way, but hard to get to. So let's tuck it in the carport, sheltered, easy to empty, and there'll be a
smash
power
with your
outlet
car
there.
every morning.
Show
The main
offense to
vacuum
anybody
line
who
could
ever put a
run
unit in
either
a
through the
carport.
crawl space, so branch lines could be run up, or in the attic, with branch lines to go down to the living area. Here's a two-story non-basement home. The power unit could go in a closet if we had no other options. It could, in this case, go under a sun deck. Probably isn't an electrical outlet there, though.
Right next to the bee's
So
nest.
let's put it in the garage, and it'll be handy to the trash cans for emptying, too. The main vacuum line could run across the attic, or it could be run across the lower level ceiling, perhaps between or through the joists. Here's a bungalow with a basement. The basement is the obvious choice for the power unit and for the main line across the ceiling. This could run beneath the joists if the basement's unfinished. A split level. Typically here we need two main lines, one for each side. The power unit will go on the lowest level. Main lines could run through each of the two attic levels, or if a staircase like this is accessible, through the crawl spaces we have here, and up the underside of the stairs. Stairs almost always run at 38 degrees, and a 38-degree elbow is available for this kind of vacuum line. Here we have a model to show how you can plan
Now when you're
the
building,
blueprints
make sure
of
you
your
ask
home.
your builder for a
The white
scale
tubing is the main line
model
route
of
we've
your
chosen.
home
We've plotted this with a
with
scale
vacuum
length
pipes
hose,
made out of
this 5'2".
straws.
You
And
can
ask
use a
for
string
proof.
on a blueprint.
For the
From the
front yard.
doorway, the hose won't reach the dining room, and although it'll get nearly everywhere
You
else,
can just
we'll
raid your
rule out the
daughter's
doorway
Barbie
as an
or
inlet
son's
location.
Barbie house and take the
How
furniture
about the
out
middle
of
of
it.
this
There you
great
go.
big living room wall? Nope, you'd be forever moving the couch every time you wanted to vacuum.
And label them too. Label
So we
every
know the
room.
doorway won't work. The scale hose was too short from here. We'll want to avoid inlets behind the swing of doors. This location might work, but here's the best. From here it'll reach everything and no furniture
And
in
use
the
a
way.
tic tac to mark the inlet.
We put the power unit in the garage, close to the trash for easy emptying, and so the dust can't recirculate back into the living area. Again, try to avoid the middle of walls for inlets.
What they
We've
don't
put
show
one
is
valve
that
here in
to
the
show
hall,
the
where
electrical
there's
wires
usually no
throughout the
furniture
house,
to get
maybe
in the way
that part they
anyway.
use spaghetti.
There are two ways to get this inlet here. Next to the hall is a bedroom closet. We've run the pipe down the inside of the wall, but we could have simply run it down the closet, and we'll show you both methods as this tape goes on. You'll be quite satisfied with just a little planning on the blueprints for your home.
Ted's quite satisfied.
If your house is already framed, you can take a long
Also,
tape
when you
and
install,
measure full
never
scale
change your
to
shirt.
check your plans
Never.
for inlet locations. And in homes already finished, use the hose itself, taking it to each
And make
corner
sure
of
you
the
use the
area you
dusting
plan to
brush.
cover
Yep.
to be sure it will reach all areas. You can plan inlets that run up through cold air ducts, up through floors, from closets through walls, and up inside walls. And you may want to plan to use the new super valve, all of which this
The
tape will
graphics.
demonstrate. First, though, a word from Ted.
What we have here are two main lines, which you might possibly find in the installation of your central vacuum system. The one over here has the main line running in the basement along the ceiling. It has branch lines that come up into the living area and other branch lines that run down to the basement rooms. This main line here you would find in your attic. It has T's running on the horizontal, and all the inlets run down to the living area.
Thank you, Ted.
Thank you, Ted.
Notice here as well how the fitting behind the mounting plate is a short 90. Now this is a tight turn, the most likely place for objects to catch in the line. So we put the short 90s at the mounting plate, and when there's a clog we can just reach through the inlet and catch them. Further up the line we use sweep type fittings like this sweep 90. Here's a look at the tools you'll require for an average vacuum system installation, and most of them you probably already have. You need a hacksaw for cutting pipe, unless you have a special Hayden pipe cutter.
Everyone has one.
And a
laying
miter
around.
box is a good idea for getting cut square. 50-foot tape for measuring inlet locations, plus a short tape. You'll need some kind of marker. We often use felt tips. A wood chisel to remove burrs in pipe after cutting. A good hammer.
Beat
And
yourself
a
with.
jab saw with a point for starting cuts in drywall. One of your most valuable tools, the wire coat hanger. It can be both a drill bit and a helpful holding device. Good pair of wire strippers. And a standard power drill. The cordless kind is handy but not essential. Need some bits too. A jigsaw for when you must cut through
batteries?
sheathing or flooring. Good pair of pliers for twisting electrical connections. And needle nose pliers for tight spots. A utility knife for all sorts of reasons. An average size blade screwdriver, plus a Phillips screwdriver. And if they're available, a couple of socket screwdrivers, the kind with the green and red handles.
What do you use those for?
You may want
I
to
don't
rent
know.
some
I don't know
specialty
what they-
tools as well. One good one's a right angle drill with a 1/2-inch drive. Because of the angle, they're excellent for working between studs or joists. Extension bits can be rented from the same place, although they're not all that often required. And a heavy-duty 2 3/8 bit. Use a good one with heavy teeth like this. Ask for the multi-spur kind when you rent.
Yeah, rent your drill.
I don't
bits.
think you can
Now,
rent
inlet
drill
kits.
bits.
Often your fittings will come packed like this in 1 or 3 inlet assemblies. You'll have inlet valves, which you mount on the wall to plug your vacuum hose into. The conventional kind will have a little plug cover above. When you mount a valve on the wall, you use a mounting plate. Sometimes you trim off the nailing flange with a knife, and on the back you connect the pipe that takes the dust and dirt away. The first connection to the mounting plate is usually a short 90-degree elbow, short to fit between the 2 studs. Now, further down the main line run, sweep T fittings join branch lines into the main line, and the sweep of the T must always point toward the power unit.
Hashtag ban sweep.
Here's a
keys.
sweep 90 for turns in the line. Use
The
this
sweep
anywhere
of
but at
key
the
should
inlet
always
valve
point
and mounting
toward the
plate.
installer.
Often you don't need a 90-45 will do, and better because it's a more
Go
gentle
ahead, girl,
turn.
Sweep the T.
A couplet, used to join 2 pieces of pipe in a straight line. A pipe strap, you put drywall screws or nails into the holes to hold
How
pipe
do you
against
nail
walls or
that
joists
in?
or
It just
studs.
seems inconvenient.
With a
PVC
special
pipe cement
Hayden
for
pipe strap
securely
nail
joining
or
each pipe
conventional
connection.
nailing technique.
This sets fairly quickly. You'll need to join
Make sure
properly.
you use
after
your
you
own
do.
branded glue.
Low voltage
That's right.
wire. This connects to each inlet valve so your power unit turns on automatically when you plug in your hose. And cable
Plugging
ties
your hose
to
to
attach
who?
the low voltage wire to the pipe. One end just slides into the other and locks to form a
Ma'am,
circle
if you
around
have to
the pipe.
explain how to use a zip tie, they should
You
not be
may have
installing around central
rectangles
back.
drawn
No.
on your box of
No.
fittings. 2 on a 1 inlet kit, 4 on a 3 inlet kit.
How come
Upper
we don't
one's a
get
template
templates
for drawing the
anymore?
outline of a mounting plate on the
Call
wall
Billy.
floor, and the lower ones are
This
plaster
is what's
guards
really
to
holding
use
you
if you're
back in
installing your
install.
system
So
as
no
the home is
cardboard
being built.
templates.
To use these, take your knife and cut them out, cutting along the center of each line. They'll
They'll
become part of your kit. While most kits come with conventional inlet valves, the
Wait,
kind with the plug
I just
cover above
realized
the
that
hole
they
for the hose,
don't even use the
if
template
you've
in this
chosen our
video.
new super valve with 1
No,
10
no,
power, the inlet
that's
valve
right.
has not a plug cover, but a power receptacle for your power nozzle. You'll get the same kind of mounting plate, except this one will have an electrical box on top for the 110 power connections. It's held on with a couple of screws at the front. You'll also have standard 2-inch outside diameter pipe. These are basic part kits. Other kits may have other components, and your dealer can supply additional fittings. Now here's how things go together. The short 90 elbow on the back of the mounting plate will rotate a full 360 degrees. You'll use several positions as you go along. Let's do the simplest first.
It's always good
Take
to
a
know
piece
all
of pipe,
positions.
fit
All
it into the
positions.
short
I
90,
think Argon
and
probably
position the
did a song
mounting
about
plate
that.
on the stud at the height you want the inlet valve. We use a couple of drywall screws to hold the plate to the stud. They go in easily and securely. But flathead screws or nails will also work fine. Here's what it looks like from the side. One of 4 applications we can show you here. Next, a pipe from the inlet
Must have
up
been
to
a
the
little
level
hot in that
above.
studio.
Take a short 90 again,
See,
fit it
fixing-
onto the pipe,
he's
and this time your assembly
airing
will
it
point
off
upward
for
as you fit the
installation.
short 90 onto the back of the mounting plate. Notice the mounting plate
If
is
this
in
was
exactly
recorded in
the same
2020,
position.
there would be a warning
Here's
that
the
says
side view again,
disclaimer, chest
going
hair
up
may
from the
catch
same
fire
plate as
from
the
blue.
last one that went down.
Yeah.
Oops, here's a nail in the way
Oops.
when we're trying to go up.
Make sure
We
you
can't
circle
run the
it.
pipe up next to the stud. We'll have to go out from the stud to get the pipe up to
Ah,
the
just
level
drill
above.
through it, it'll be
So
fine.
let's measure
You don't
out,
need that
say,
blade.
8 inches, mark the spot for the pipe, and we'll drill a hole.
There's a
here.
nail 2 inches out, so we're going to move ours
Now,
8 inches
take a
out.
short 90 and a mounting plate again, and watch the
Again.
rotation here.
Again.
the 90 will come out at a 45-degree angle. For reference, there are increment markings on both the short 90 and the back of the mounting plate. We'll put the mounting plate on the other side of the stud this time. Same drywall screws, the same plate, it can go either side.
Really?
Now we fit a piece of pipe into a 45-degree elbow, which will fit into the short 90. This will get us out from the nail we're trying to avoid. We'll check the measure. Make sure it too is 8 inches out from the stud.
Yeah, I bet you check your measure.
Now a length of pipe, long enough to reach up through the top plate.
You did not put it
and miss
through
the
there.
nail. Fit the bottom into that
No, 'cause
45
there's no-
elbow,
there's no
and we're
sheathing
both
on
up
the
and out from the
back of
plate
that wall.
on the opposite side of the stud.
I'm just saying.
Not saying, just saying.
Here's the case of a short branch line. The short 90 on the mounting plate connects to a short pipe over to a sweep T. The T will form part of a main line, which will run from the upper level of this home downward. As we finish up the main line,
And be sure to take up
notice
the
how the
entire
sweep of
stud
the T
base so the
is
electrician
down
and low
toward the
voltage
power
guy
line,
loves you.
and is
That's right.
confined within the space between the studs.
My stud base.
Side view, and the 90 behind the plate is directly to the side. Before we go on, consider this. You plug your
Oh, there's
hose
Mrs.
into the
Hayden,
inlet
number
valve,
one.
and then often you hunt high and low for a place to plug in the 110 power cord. We've had to go to an extension cord here because the 110 outlet to plug into is so far away. And most quality
I just
carpets
realized that
today
they have
require
like
the use of a power
complementing
nozzle.
plaid shirts that they're wearing.
Now, as we
How else
begin
would you know they're the
vacuuming, we
Haydens?
either take a lot of care to hold that cord well out of the way, or we push it with the nozzle, try to. Sometimes that's inconvenient, and sometimes it's
Look, I'm
downright
just
dangerous.
saying.
Now here's
this
the
isn't the
super
best
valve
idea.
solution.
Right.
The hose plugs into the inlet valve, and so does the 110 power.
Oh my God.
Both at the same place.
Mind blown.
Now, notice the difference on the carpet as you clean. There's no cord in the way, no inconvenience, and no
I
hazard.
get what they're saying here, but I think the previous one was like a
Here's
big
how to
dump
install
station.
the solution. Your super valve mounting plate goes
There's
onto
got
the
to
stud
be a
like a
better way.
regular mounting plate, even with the electrical box on top.
Ted
And the
Hayden,
plate
who's
can be
running it as the
rotated
Kool-Aid
to
man.
keep the box on top and still have the plate go to the other side of the
There
stud
used
if
to
we
be a
want to.
wall, but I made
You
a
just
new
take
way.
out the
That's
two
right.
retaining screws and the plate falls
Falls
away
away.
from the box. Two separate
Different
pieces. To get the box on the other end of the mounting plate, rotate the box. The box fits on the back of the plate, and we rotate if necessary because it's better to have the 110 power box at the top if possible. Just put the two retaining screws back in, and the rotation's complete. Here's the plate attached to the stud. The box is on top, but we need to run it to the pipe.
Ooh, they're doing
So as
hot
we
wire
attach the
style.
short 90 to fit on the back of the mounting plate, the pipe will be fitted to run first down and then up, just
You can do
about
this
like
with a
this.
45 and a 90.
The pipe cannot run straight up because of the electrical box, which is preferably located on the top.
No, short 90.
So to go up, the pipe runs
Well,
out from the stud
No,
again,
because you can't.
much as
It
we
won't
did
go
to
out to the
avoid
side
that nail
because
moment.
the fucking ground.
There's more than one way to achieve this, though.
You can't make it go
Here's
straight
another
out.
way.
You can't.
The short 90
On
is
later
turned
ones,
to
you
the
can't do
side,
that.
The
Really?
pipe comes
Yeah,
out,
they don't go out to
and
the
then
side.
Is you sure?
Well, it's at an angle.
Oh,
We've
it's
done
yeah.
this next one, so the pipe goes straight up. But to achieve that, we've had to put the box at the bottom. Finally, the easy one. The box is on the top, and the pipe is simply straight down.
Usually the box
Here's
is
how
on
the
the bottom of the
110
pipes
super
on the
valve
top.
is wired. We're going from the nearest electrical duplex box. We usually strip and bare the ends of the wire first, using either a special Hayden wire stripper or conventional stripping techniques.
I used
Insert a
conventional
wire
stripping techniques
connector in
in
the super
college.
valve
Yeah.
box.
But when I
Insert the
graduated,
1000
I
connector
just
if you
used
have
a
to.
newer.
No, I installed
I-
central
I-
back.
I installed central back, so I have a better stripping method.
That's right.
Then
Make
with a
sure you
screwdriver,
ground your
tighten the
plastic
ground
box
screw
with
to hold the
a
wire
piece of
securely.
aluminum Romex.
That's
It's
right.
a good
a
idea
ground
to tuck
wire.
that ground
That's right.
wire to the side and back of the box to leave room
Very
for wire
dangerous
connectors.
otherwise.
For now, just tuck in the black and white
problems.
wire. You'll finish the connections and install the inlet valve after the home is
You don't put
fitted.
some wire nuts on that?
For now,
Okay.
check to make sure the low voltage wire is in
If
place
they
on the
thought you
mounting
should
plate.
have them, they'd give them to you
Then
in
to
the kit.
protect your work during drywall and painting, install one of the plaster guards
That's gonna
from the
stay
side
there.
of your inlet
Yeah.
kit box. Over at the duplex box, we brought our wire in from the top to connect it to power, the wire for which has already been installed. Our bare ground wire is wound around the ground
That is
screw,
aluminum
then
Romex.
twisted with
Yeah.
the ground on the power cord. Our white is connected to white,
White.
our black to
Black to
black.
black.
Check to ensure your connections comply with local electrical codes. Tap in the staples, and you're finished.
Do you think Ted paid somebody to tap that
Now
stapler
let's
in
go
for
to
him,
a
or do you
job
think he
site
could do that?
for some more techniques you'll use when installing
Okay, be
systems
sure to
in
wear
homes
trousers.
during construction.
And what is might be a vintage Burberry shirt to a job site.
Jerry, we don't have an inlet up here, and I'd like to put an inlet here. This will cover these two rooms here quite adequately.
Make a point of checking with the builder so that your plans don't conflict with the intentions he has for other trades.
Big YouTube star.
We're
30 years
fastening our
later.
tape to a place we
Make
chose
sure you
for
wear
inlet valve.
a diamond
Check and verify its
Rolex
location.
and
Then we
big
measure
ass
to the
diamond
furthest
ring
points
onto a
to
job
make sure
site,
our
so that way
holes
you
will
can
reach
conquer
every
the
area
head
we
of the way
intend.
out.
That's right.
In this case, we'll be fine.
And
The
just
furthest
step over
point
the
is 23
electrician, it's
feet.
fine.
Excuse me, boy, I'm putting
The
in a
next thing we
central.
measure is the height of the center of the electrical outlets in the room. Because
Well, is
over
it an
where we've
outlet or a
established
duplex?
our inlet location, we'll want to put our inlet at the same height. First, we mark the height of the center of the outlet.
I wonder if that's
Then we
Nancy
take a
Pelosi's
straight edge,
impeachment
our
panel.
mounting plate in this
Oh,
case,
God.
and extend that line.
I actually
You'll see
do
why
that.
as we take
I
out
actually
drywall
extend the
screws to
lines.
mount
It
the
does
plate.
help.
It helps.
Through the
Yeah.
unused center hole in the mounting plate flange,
You're not gonna
we
level
can
that
see
box,
the extended
Dad?
line at the same height as the electrical
Okay.
boxes.
Choices.
This will be a super valve
Where's
inlet
his
with a
Mont
box
Blanc
on top,
fountain
so
pen
we'll bring the pipe out
marking
and
those?
up, away from the stud, and away from the wire on the left, just as we avoided the nail in the top plate a couple of minutes ago. Here's a vacuum inlet location pre-marked so that other trades won't use this space. This is upstairs.
they'll
Now we
listen.
need to know where joists are. Here's a row of nails to indicate one. We don't want to drill through a joist to reach down to the main line. Let's find a second, and a third will confirm that the nails do indicate
Okay, I'm wearing a
joists
pilot bit.
rather than say walls below.
Since when do
Now the
subfloors get
hole we
nailed to
plan
the
is
walls?
not far
though?
from the center joist, but you can see it is far enough, 3 inches or so to the right, that will clear it. We plan to drill next to the stud and in the center of the plate.
And so you're gonna hit a
And 3
nail.
tips about drilling. 1, an extension bit allows you to stand while you drill. 2, for stability,
It is a
place
lot
the
easier
end
to
of the
drill
drill
when you
against the
stand.
next stud
It
like
is.
this. And 3, clear the hole by moving the drill up and down when you're through.
Just not gonna go with that one.
Back downstairs. Let's begin cutting the pipe to hook up an inlet. You'll want a good square
How
cut for
pissed do you
proper
think he
alignment,
was he had to
and a
use
miter
another
box,
saw for
although
this?
not essential, will
I-
help. With the hacksaw, you'll find the pipe cuts easily, but you'll also find that the hacksaw has left burrs on the pipe, which must be removed.
Well, that's good. He has that chisel.
One way
He
to
can
do
defend
this
himself
is
and
with
try
the
to
side of a
Rolex.
chisel,
That's right.
using a steady, even pressure, and cleaning both the outside and
Why
inside
doesn't he
of
do
the
it the
pipe.
smart way with some
You'll
sandpaper
want to
on a
remove
dowel?
anything that could catch lint or
I wonder
objects
why
that
he has
could
such
later
big
plug the
calluses on
system.
his knuckles. He doesn't
Now to
install
glue.
anymore, but okay,
Glue only
whatever.
the pipe, not the fitting. Make sure you have lots on the applicator,
hand.
and
Right
that
hand
you
side,
cover the
holding
whole
the-
way around the outside end of the pipe. Bring up your fitting and twist it as you snug it onto the end of the glued pipe.
I don't know where
Remember,
he had
twist
that
it
90.
quickly. Now the assembly. It's best to dry fit first. Again, a short 90 goes behind the
go
mounting
to
plate,
the
then a
left.
sweet 90.
say
Next,
you
we'll add a
can.
short length
You're
of pipe to
lying.
get us out and away from the stud, and then another sweet 90. Down, across, and then up to keep the electrical box on top.
Do you think they did this so that
Now
all
we
the
dry
heavy
fit the
screws
branch
would lay in
line up
there
to where
because
it can
the
later
Hayden
connect to the main
Superbacks
line.
had
We'll come
didn't
back
have enough
and do this
airflow to
later.
pull them up the wall?
Yeah, right. It's for
Back
safety.
upstairs,
Yeah.
let's fit the inlet we located and drilled a moment ago. Throughout this home, we're installing super valves. The procedure for
Good choice.
conventional inlets is identical, except you don't have the electrical boxes. In this inlet, too, we've matched the height with the height of other outlets in this home.
Oh, Ted.
The electrician has left a
Not
110
straight.
wire here to wire this vacuum inlet. The 110 hookup is usually quite simple, but it's a good idea to ensure the person handling it is qualified under local building codes. Below, we're ready now to glue the branch lines into the main line, working promptly with this PVC cement, snugging each fitting over the glue on each pipe, turning this one up into place. The branch lines run between joists, then they run down to connect with the
I'm
main
having a
line.
panic attack watching.
We
him
run the
avoiding
main line
putting-
beneath the
that-
joist
that's
since
not it.
this
That's not
basement isn't
floor
going to
that
be
was just
finished.
For demonstration. You see it's
Now
screwed
here's the
into
system.
Yes.
The furthest inlet from the power unit, going up the branch line to the ceiling.
How long did it take him to record this at night?
You'll notice how the
Oh,
pipe
yeah.
straps hold the pipe up. For our demonstration, we've assumed
This
this
is
will be
BS,
a drop
you can see the
ceiling,
holes they
so
drill
strapping
next
the
to it.
vacuum
At
line
least that's
beneath the
can
joist is
Yeah.
okay.
So you know that we can
Here's a
see the
view
holes
between
drilled
two
next to
joists,
it.
a line coming down from a wall inlet above. Floor inlet coming to a sweet 90-degree elbow, then to a T on the main line.
Because everybody does the floor in that new
Another view of the
construction.
same
Especially
connection.
a
The T
super valve.
sweeps toward the power unit as
Yeah, new
always.
construction.
On the left here, the T's been angled so it can connect to a 45. This smooths the airflow, makes better use of the parts in your kit.
And things don't get
Here's
stuck in
one
it.
sweet 90 leading to another sweet 90. This is one way to jog up between joists. Here's another. 190 is angled, so it connects to a 45. If you line up the increment marks
They
every
never put
45
street
degrees,
frames in their
it'll
kits,
help
did
keep the
they?
line
Nope.
straight too. Another main line. The branch line between the joists connects to the main line on the same plane, and the main line has
So this
been
is the
drilled through the
actual
joist,
way it was
so the
installed.
basement ceiling can be finished later. You'll use this through the joist
find it very
approach,
interesting they
where
drilled
drywall
off-center
is to be nailed to the bottom of
in
floor
dimensional
joists.
lumber.
Oh yeah. That's a bozo no-no.
And if we'd chosen the attic for the main line, you'd see the branches like this, all coming off horizontally, dropping down to inlets within walls below. Not a bad idea to insulate attic lines later. Remember, we don't like
only if you
the
get the
electrical
chance.
box on the
No
bottom.
big deal.
Here's why. First though, let's look at this from the angle the vacuum user sees, from above. With the valve
No, I
on,
feel like on
you
floor.
go and lift the cover and you can't see the power receptacle. Now if the box were on the top, the door would swing down and you'd see fine.
Think of
The
your
next
poor
thing you do
cleaning
is
lady.
connect the low voltage wires you've been running down.
You did
from
not
each
run enough wire up there,
You
Ted.
cable
No, you
tied it in
didn't.
several places along the pipe run.
Oh no, you didn't.
Is that...
You'll bear
Oh,
the ends
never
where
mind.
several meet,
Thought you
usually
did
where a
drop out
branch
to it,
joins
yeah.
the main line. The procedure will be to twist together all the blacks, then all the whites, and install twist-on electrical connectors. The electrician on this job site is giving us a 110 power line from a junction box
He looks
nearby.
thrilled about it
He
too.
too has connected blacks, whites, and grounds separately. We can watch as he inserts the stripped wires through a connector into the box.
I love that you.
This
I can
connector is one of
guarantee
the
you the
kind that
conversation with.
requires
I'm
tightening
assuming the
to secure
Canadian
the
version
110
you all
cable
write it.
in
I'm
the power
writing was
outlet's
like,
electrical box.
but it's plastic. You have to ground it. But we have nothing to ground to.
Now
Just
watch
put a
how quickly
screw in
it
there.
goes.
Just,
do
put,
this.
just
First
screw it.
tucking
Hayden
the
says,
ground a
screw
bit,
it.
then wrapping
Fine.
it around the green screw, then driving in the screw to secure the ground wire, and tucking it in almost at the same time. Again, because this home isn't finished, he
Again.
won't wire the inlet valve, but will really
Really
tuck
tuck
in
in
the
the
wire
valves.
ends well back into the box to be connected after the house is complete. Now, let's go back upstairs. Ted is feeding low voltage wire down from this inlet to connect with the main line, then hooking this end securely over the lower screw anchor that protrudes behind the mounting plate. He'll want to secure the low voltage wire with a cable tie until after construction is complete. We'll pull this wire out again and connect it to the valve after the drywall is in place. You should leave the low voltage wire in this manner at every inlet you install in the house under construction.
Snap the zip tie off before you trim it
Now,
off.
since the
Yeah.
110 here is already done,
angry at
we'll
that
simply
zip tie.
install a plaster guard and we'll be finished for now. Last thing to do, the garage where the power unit will go. This is the first of two methods we'll show. This one is for leaving the main line drop down through what will be a finished ceiling.
Roughing it
After
a
you
vacuum
remove the
flow.
pipe drop, wrap some spare low voltage wire from the excess that runs down from the main line, and after flattening out the coil, insert it into the end of the pipe. The bunching of the wire, along with a cable tie or two, will hold it in place in the pipe until the house is finished. Then you'll come back and mount the power unit.
I see that you didn't trim that, Ted.
Here's the other alternative.
Shame.
The pipe runs down the wall between the studs.
Roughing it in
It'll be
MD.
hidden.
Yep.
Then it'll come out to the power unit. Again the bunched wire, and again a cable tie. All you'll see later is the horizontal pipe protruding through the drywall.
Is that quite pipe?
Now we've come back, the home is complete, and we've turned the
He's
power
got the
off.
super valve
Because
screwed
when we
into the
remove the
wall.
I know.
plastic guards and
But
fish
there's
out the
no-
wires from
there's
each
no
box,
wall damage.
we
I
don't
love
want
how
to
they
get
did
hit with
that.
any
Yeah.
unwelcome jolt. We will strip
Shut off the
bare
power to the
ends
entire
of the
job
black
site
and
so
white
every
wire
other
at each rough-in
subcontractor
location,
hates you.
and
Right.
prepare to connect them to the pigtails and the power receptacle.
I think
You
it's
connect
great
them
that this
color for
house,
color.
that these Hayden
The
super
pipe to
valve
the
is
pipe
wired
here.
with
Then black to
better
black.
wire leads than the rest of his houses.
Mm-hmm.
Clip off any excess on each twisted location, and install an approved twist-on connector.
A marette, as they call them in Canada.
What?
Marette.
What's a morat?
It's the Canadian name for
Next,
wire nut.
fish out the low voltage wire from where
Is
you
it
hooked
French?
it around the screw anchor at the
guess.
bottom of each mounting
Oui,
plate.
oui.
Again, you'll strip and bare the ends of the wire. We'll hook those ends to the two terminals on the back of each inlet valve.
Make sure you
The
get a
wire should be
manicure before
wrapped
you install your
clockwise at
system.
each terminal. That is, the wrap
You
should
wouldn't
be
want
in
to
the
be made
same
fun of by
direction
the other
as the
trades
direction you tighten the
For
screw.
having dirty nails.
It doesn't matter which color goes to which terminal, as long as both are secure.
I wonder if you got a French tip. He is Canadian.
Mounting the valve may look tricky, but it isn't. You bring the valve closer to the mounting plate and tuck in the wire as you go.
Make
110
sure you
goes
push
into
off the
the
wire,
box
not
at
as
the
you push
top,
it in.
low voltage into the opening at the bottom. Ease the valve in gently but firmly, and then drive in the bottom and top screws that hold the valve in place. Oops, take the tool with you, and you're finished. Now, let's say you're not quite ready to purchase the power unit for your new home.
Well then
You
fuck
can
you, you don't
replace
get
the
cover
plastic
plates.
guard with a smart-looking temporary cover, which mounts the same way as an inlet valve and will dress up your work until you complete your system.
Have you ever seen those?
Once.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. They were ugly.
Here's a power unit mounted where two main lines from
Buzzer.
opposite
Do you
directions have
think
joined at the
that,
ceiling to come down to the unit.
that the
And
new
this is
code
most common
installers,
mistake
or the
made
new
in
code
central
installed
vacuum
manual
installations.
writers, saw
The
only
problem
this part
is
and
not
they
so
were like,
much
this
the
is
T doesn't
perfect.
sweep correctly
Right.
from both main lines, as it
If
is a
those
direct
kids could read,
passage
they'd
from
be
one
very
main line to
offended.
the other. So, dirt from the left with the momentum of your power unit suction will keep right on going. Only a little will drop down where it's supposed to. And from the right, the sweep will correctly intercept about half the dirt. The other half will shoot straight into the main line to the left. The sweep T is wrong mainly
the worst
because
game
it
of
does
tug of
not
war ever.
interrupt the flow between the two main lines. There are other proper ways. Here's a
Christ.
configuration
No.
using parts available from most inlet kits.
Do not.
This one diverts the flow
It
from
goes
both
in
main
your
lines.
garage ceiling. What doesn't look
This
any
one's
worse than a
simpler,
vacuum cleaner,
needs
though.
less
And
room,
these clog
although
even
the
more.
Y is a specialty part you
According
have
to
to make a
vacuum
point
man.
of getting.
Oh.
And this one is perhaps best because it interrupts the flow and because all the turns are gentle.
Make sure you
Now let's try our
order
hand to
that
finish
Y,
holes.
though.
They're
Yeah, right.
satisfying to do and easier than you think.
I wonder if they put the unit
Our
in the
first step
cardboard.
is locating the
Oh,
inlet
yeah.
valves again. Here an assistant takes your hose to check and see if it can reach the corner from the location you planned. As he holds one corner,
I don't know what
you on the
dreams
other
that's
end will
catching,
begin
but
finding
I
a
don't
range
know.
of possible locations within the area you've chosen. Try for a wall if there's one within range, as walls
that
are
used to be a
preferable
garage?
both for appearance and for convenience.
Maybe, probably.
Then your assistant will check
Yeah,
the rest of the
garage.
cleaning radius at this end of the hose reach. And then, as you hold your position, he'll walk past you so he can check the other end of the hose
That
reach.
carpet.
Now, when he gets into position here,
Don't make fun.
he'll
This is the
pause
most
at the
stylish
furthest
house
point
they could find for this video.
Well, probably.
so that you can now narrow down the potential inlet location. It's obvious now you can't get around to that wall,
God forbid
so
you just
look
put
for
in two
another otherwise
inlets.
spot on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
We've chosen a spot at the end of this kitchen cabinet beneath the built-in desktop. Now to begin our installation, we need a pilot bit, which we cut from a
I
coat
always
hanger.
thought that said not
We
a
trim the bit
beginner
long enough to go
installation.
through the floor, and after we mount it in
I
the
think you need
drill,
hearing aids.
we'll trim it on an angle
But
for
I need to be
easier
able to turn
penetration.
them off.
Mm.
Why would you...
Oh, why?
Ted. Bad Ted.
We drill the pilot bit right tight to the cabinet so that the hole won't be visible later, and so it'll indicate below where the cabinet is.
I would
Below
rather
we
put
can
it
see
in the
we're
side of
clear
the
of floor
cabinet.
joists,
Well,
heating
yeah.
ducts, or utilities. Next, with a cardboard template from the inlet kit box,
Oh,
outline
they
the
used it
opening
here,
on the
sorry.
floor.
Oh, okay.
The maximum any floor inlet should be away from the walls about 6 inches. We'll be no more than 4 inches away from this cabinet, and we're also beneath the desktop too. Next, with a drill bit large enough to accommodate a jigsaw blade,
I actually
drill
can't
out
believe
the
this
corners,
battery
at least
drill
2 of
can
them.
even drill through this, but that's, I guess, the less shocking thing.
It's very slow. Careful of the customer's expensive vinyl floor.
Now you're ready to cut the opening. You'll use a jigsaw for this. It's probably obvious, but while this works well with today's no-wax floors, it won't work with ceramic tiles.
Or marble, terrazzo.
Now, while the mounting plate will be installed from below, we'll check the opening from above for size. It fits. Pre-assemble the 110 power cable in the box on the mounting plate, and the mounting plate will fit up into position. A word of caution. Check your screw length before you mount. You'll want them long enough to hold firmly, but short enough to avoid going through the floor above.
The other thing with this, and you'll see in a second.
Now, something we haven't seen before. We're using a coupling and a short pipe to drop the short 90 down a bit from the mounting plate. It'll bring the branch down from the floor and allow it to flow directly into a sweep 90, then the main line. run low voltage
trying
wire
to
up
figure out
above,
what's the
and
TV.
after electrical connections, drop your inlet valve into place.
You're not going to discuss inlet extensions?
No.
After the
extension for you.
usual mounting screws, your floor inlet is out of the
They
way,
don't even,
quite
they don't even
accessible,
touch.
and looks good.
That's only like maybe 5/8 of an inch.
Now our TV prop. We framed a 2-story home to
Seriously,
allow
you
us to
learned
see some of the
anything.
techniques Ted's developed for
you
installing in
looked at
existing
this.
homes.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll go quite slowly in some places here so you can see in detail how straightforward this can be. Here's the first, a floor mount again, but through a carpet. We drill the pilot hole again, this time through the center of the mounting plate, which we locate just far enough from the wall to avoid the carpet tack strip. Below we can see by the location of the bit that our installation will clear any joists or
the joist on the right
utilities.
anyway.
Mounting plate still in the same
And
location.
why-
We push it into the nap of the
Why
carpet.
is that weird
so the
angle?
plastic
Why don't they
guard
talk
will leave
about
a
using
visible
floor
impression.
adapters? Why do you have to
That's our
screw with
cutting
this
mark.
mounting
Run
plate?
your utility
Yes.
knife, only a sharp one, along the lines
For super
to cut out
valves.
the impression
Oh,
you've
right,
left in
right.
the nap. The carpet backing usually requires a bit of trimming at the corners once you've taken out the main piece. You'll do much the same for the under cushion here to get it out of the way.
Or just drill through it. It's fine.
Can you clip that?
And now you're
strand?
ready to drill the holes for your jigsaw. As you saw, your guide will be the cut edge of the backing of the carpet.
Is that like purple or like a gray or?
I can't tell. It's mauve.
Yeah, mauve. No, that's pinkish.
Your hole is complete. And with just a little persuasion from above, you're ready for your mounting plate.
Hit it with your hammer.
This time it installs from the top, and you'll insert it beneath
Nobody's
the carpet
done
at
this.
right angles
No.
to the hole you've cut, and
I
then
think I
turn
might
it
have
into
once.
place.
And then you realize how it
Now
doesn't
cut a
work.
split,
Yeah, right.
just long enough so that you'll be able to drive a screw down through the center hole in the mounting plate nailing flange. Don't worry about the split. The inlet valve will hold it together later.
I saw this
And the
retrofitted
one
in a
screw will
hardwood
secure
floor a
the
few
plate
times,
adequately.
like this.
With a mounting plate, you can see the flange.
Yeah. They put the
Downstairs,
inlets
we're
in the
again
closets.
using the coupling and short piece of pipe to drop the short 90, then the
very
branch
nice.
line, down about 3 inches. This still leaves
At
the
no
short
point
90 as
should
the
you ever
obstruction
consider
stopping
taking off
elbow
your
behind the
giant
inlet,
diamond ring
and lowers
while
the
you're
branch
doing
line
this.
Well,
just
I'm
enough
Ted
to make
Hayden,
it
fuck
easier to
you.
assemble. You'll feed up some low voltage wire and secure it again with a cable tie.
Maybe he wanted to say, "I'm really just doing this for the video."
Back upstairs, you bare the low voltage wire and
It is what
secure
Kim
the ends to
Kardashian
the
said,
terminals on the inlet valve.
I mean, I guess the one nice thing about this is you don't have to worry about like if in 10 years when they pull the carpet up, like it doesn't rip out, but it's just going to be really awkward whenever
And the
in 10
valve
years they
will
rip the
drop into
carpet up and
place,
put it in hardwood.
ready to be
Yeah.
fastened with the 2 color-matched screws that come with it. It's unusual for anyone to step within 6 inches of
Also
the wall,
use a white and
but
a
should
gray
that happen,
carpet.
the
Yeah.
plaster
Yeah.
guard on the
Even though they
mounting
made a
plate
gray
is
inlet at
fully
this
supporting the valve at this point.
Or black, it would look nicer.
Another technique. Behind this short wall is a closet. We want to run a line from the
He's
closet
using a special
through the
Hayden
wall
stud finder.
to an inlet on this side. First we find
He
the
was
stud.
born with 2 of them.
That's
Then
right.
in the attic we peel back the insulation and locate the top plate for that short wall.
Yeah, don't worry about wearing
We
gloves.
circled the spot
No,
on the
no,
closet
no.
side of the wall for our piece of pipe down, since we know by tapping and measuring our studs here, and we want the pipe down through the closet to be adjacent to a hollow part of the short wall.
What?
Stay with us, this will become clearer. We locate the stud and the hollow
Thank
spot
you.
beside it again, and after measuring the right height
Yeah, I
from
knew
the
what they were
floor,
saying, but
mark
still.
the spot for the
Ask
center of our
and
inlet
he shall
location.
receive.
Next, we trim off the mounting plate nailing flange. Here's how
On
you
the
do it.
carpet.
You do this for every finished wall inlet. After a pass or two of
You
your
know
knife,
his assistant
it comes
cut that
off quite
before that.
easily.
Yeah.
Take this plate you've
Yeah, it
modified,
never takes
center
2
your
passes.
mark in the middle of the hole, and mark the 2
See,
sides
they already
for
did
your
away
cut.
with the template.
Now
Yeah,
you don't
fuck
mark
that.
across the
That's
top
it.
for a
Whose
second.
idea was
You
that?
mark the line on each side precisely though, to both the top and bottom edge, so that you can use the side of the plate to complete the top and bottom marks.
Okay, just you don't have to do that.
Now the cut. This is where your jab saw comes in handy. cutting along the
surprised
center
that
of each
80s
line
drywall didn't
until
just
the
smash
rectangle
when
of
you did
wallboard
that.
can
Yeah.
be removed.
Try that with plaster.
Now you drill your pilot bit
Plaster doesn't exist
positioned
in
through the
Hayden
center
land.
of your rectangular cutout, so
do
that
you
you
do
drill
this, or do
through
you
the
just stick
closet
the hole
hole.
saw through there and do it?
No, I tend to do
Now
that.
on the
'cause I always
closet
drill
side,
from the back
you
first.
center
Oh,
your
right.
multi-spur
For
bit
here,
on the
okay.
pilot bit.
Oh
No.
God, not
and
with a
gently on this
multi-spur bit.
wallboard, drill
Nice.
through.
Well, that's the last time you're going to use
One of
that
any
bit.
number of factors prevent us from running our pipe
No,
up
I always
inside
drill
the
the
wall,
hole in the
so
back
we're
of the
going to run
closet
it from
before I
through the
cut
closet.
out the
Cut the
cardboard.
rectangle.
At this stage,
Okay.
you want your low voltage wire through the wall, hooked to hold for a second till you can get around to the other
I
side.
don't want to
and
cut
carry on
that.
work.
It's just him appear on
We're
the other
about to
side.
see why we trim mounting plates for inlets in existing homes. You run the low voltage wire through the bottom opening of the mounting plate, then insert it top forward, drop the bottom, and pull it in. Here's an instant replay. The action is tilted forward to insert, then drop and snug.
Wasn't that a dance, the drop and snug?
Now take a special Hayden
think
mounting
that was in
bracket and
Greece.
2 screws and sandwich the wallboard. This will hold your
These
mounting
had
plate
to be
securely in place
heavier
and
metal
allow
than
you to
you
work
came out with these.
hands-free
Well, see, and
in
they're not
completing your
bent
installation.
either. They're straight.
Mounting brackets aren't standard equipment with every kit, and they aren't essential either. Later, we'll see an alternate method of doing this.
Oh, wow, yeah.
You won't see
go
the
get your
mounting
handful.
bracket. The inlet valve will completely cover it when you're finished.
These would have actually worked.
Well, yeah. That's why they got rid
Here's
of it.
another look at the low voltage connection to the back of the inlet valve. The bared ends are looped to go around the terminals clockwise, the same direction as you tighten the screws. It doesn't matter which color goes to which
Which
terminal,
color?
but it does matter that both are tightened securely. When the connection is complete, you align the valve so that the door will swing downward.
Good save, Ted. Good save.
Right. Cut! Do it again, Ted!
Once it's in, you will again secure the valve with 2 color-matched mounting screws. No fear about the screws contacting any wire. Each goes into a capped screw anchor. The threads aren't exposed within the wall. And your inlet valve is now in its permanent functional state.
It needs a little
Now
pipe
attach the
first
connecting
before that.
vacuum line. Take a coupling and a short piece of pipe, insert them through the wall to fit the back of the mounting plate, then measure the point to cut the pipe with a short 90 that'll go on the closet side. You might try a Hayden pipe cutter if you can.
They're only
You'll find it
$89.
quick and clean.
Retail, they're probably
It
$149.
leaves
Probably.
no burrs, just a small ridge, which the cutter itself can be used to easily
I do
clean
that
off.
sometimes.
Really?
It does make it
Now
easier to
reinsert the
assemble.
pipe.
I've never done that.
Dry fit
Really?
the short 90.
No.
Sometimes some
And you're
things they
ready to
fit so
locate the
tight
hole
you
for the
can't
pipe to go
even
up into
dry
the
fit's
attic.
difficult. So
Notice
it's
we've
just it's a
temporarily
variance in
removed the
pipe
closet
size
shelf.
sometimes.
Right.
So I'll often
First, we
or
measure
if I'm
from the
working
center of
someplace
the
where it's
90,
hard to
first to the edge of the
get the
short
pipe part
wall,
back together again.
and then
I'll
out from the
just-
short
I'll take
wall.
the ridge off. It makes it easier.
I just don't like it because then the pipe cutter handle
Then when you
hits
get
my
up to the
Rolex.
ceiling, you'll want to match these measurements to identify the spot for the hole up to the attic. Again, same distance from the edge of the wall and out from the wall. You'll need to do this once more in the closet shelf so the pipe can run through it later. Now mark your spot, matched with the short 90 below.
They don't show
This
that
will be
part
the
where
center
he
point
shatters
for
the
your
masonite
multi-spur
board from
bit.
going in from one side.
Yeah. Or has to
Drill
unload
gently
all
in
the
this
whole
drywall
scrap
because
from
the
that
insulation may have fallen back
You think
between
something
the
got
joists.
fired on set because the drywall fell back?
The next step is to run your pipe up. It
You-
may be
ow.
pre-measured, and you will have already attached the low voltage wire from your inlet to it. Feed some wire to the attic, and you want to have fed the wire through an escutcheon, which in
How
turn
many times
slips
have you
over the
split the
pipe
back
like
of a
this.
scutcheon because you forgot
Now
to
you
put it
can
on the
slide
pipe
the pipe
first?
first
They should
up,
just come
then
straight.
into the 90 below,
Ted?
and slide the escutcheon up to the ceiling to give your work a
You want to
professional
clean that
finish.
drywall up first?
Maybe.
Oh,
yeah.
nice Sharpie mark.
Nice.
You'll cable tie your wire to the pipe and
Oh,
tie
I
it to
get
the
it.
back of the pipe.
Mistakes make you relatable.
That's right.
And in the attic, the pipe up has been trimmed so that when the 90 goes on, the horizontal line rests just nicely on the
drywall
joist.
below.
Yeah.
Now a variation. Again from the closet through the wall, but this time we'll run the closet pipe down to the floor below. We match the measure from the wall edge to
The
the center
shortest
hole
pilot
on the
bit
floor.
ever used.
Using our coat hanger pilot, again a measure to match the center of the short 90, and we drill through carpet and undercushion and flooring to check our clearance below. When we remove the pilot bit, we mark the small hole with a finger. This will be the center point for the hole we'll cut in the carpet. We begin with cuts that cross the pilot hole, about an inch each way from the center. From here, we'll cut a circle for our drill bit.
It doesn't work this way.
No.
We should do.
Now, as we insert the drill bit, we'll want to make sure we completely tuck it in, get it below the carpet,
Just
so
drill
we
the
can get a
carpet.
clean
Just
bite
use a
of the
hole
floor.
saw.
This would be a good place for a hole saw.
Yeah. Except a Berber carpet.
Ew.
Yeah. That's no fun.
From here, the vacuum line assembly is easy. The low voltage wire through an escutcheon,
You don't need
then
a
the coupling
discussion,
and
just
short
cut the
pipe
carpet
with a
a little
short
small.
90,
Exactly.
turned down this time,
Makes the best
and
discussion.
fit a
It's very
length of
form-fitting.
pipe sufficient to reach downward to the main line.
You
below.
realize at this point he realizes the short piece of pipe is too short, but he's not going to reshoot the shot. But like
Shoot your shot.
that is not.
That's
And one more
unbelievable.
variation.
bad.
Come
This
on,
one
man.
for use when the vacuum line has to run down through the closet anyway, say because the closet's stacked with the closet below or above. Same coupling and short pipe, but this time with a short T on the closet side. The down pipe goes down, as if the T were a 90, through an escutcheon at the bottom. And now we can fit a pipe running up from the top side of the T as well.
I would probably
Again,
just
this is
move
through
that
the
a
wall
little
from the
closer to
closet
wall
because we
and
couldn't
drill
run the
attached
pipe
to it.
up the wall. Here's the
that
finished view.
Who has
Up
carpet
past the
anymore?
T.
Well, that's true too.
Now we come to the shelf that we drilled and measured. Again, we've used an escutcheon for a professional finished look here. They're available through your dealer. And a similar finish at the ceiling.
Hey man, y'all got some more escutcheons?
Now let's bring a vacuum
I
line
love that
down
it's
from
a
the attic
TV prop
within
and
the
they have a
finished
double
wall.
top plate.
Our reference wall is the short one on Ted's right. Measure to about where we'd like an inlet. Then a preliminary tap check to help locate studs and the spaces between them for vacuum lines. On this wall, though, we're in luck.
They don't
There's
have
another
stuff on
way
this
of
one?
locating studs. If we stoop down to the
10 of them on
electrical
every
duplex,
installer.
we can remove the cover. And then with a probe between the edge of the drywall and the outside of the box, we can find out which
can
side of the
shock
stud
the
for
shit
this
out of
duplex is
yourself.
located.
This is a great thing to do in
Use a
ungrounded,
trusty piece of foam.
ungrounded
Move it
boxes.
diagonally outside the box. We find no stud on the
I
left.
love how he goes outside the
The
box.
right,
Like,
bingo.
you really need to
The
know.
probe hits the stud.
I have
Measure
done
from
that
here to
before,
find
though.
other studs.
To look for a stud, and
That's-
I'm like, oh well, that's right there.
I've done
That's a
it.
stud
Yep.
there, so we can locate our inlet here. We'll make a mark so we don't forget the spot.
Ooh, Sharpie's on finished
Now,
wall.
let's record the
Ugh.
distance from our location to the reference wall. Up in the attic, we pull back the insulation to find the top plate of the
My
wall we
hands
need.
hurt watching him do that.
Yeah, no kidding.
As we go, we'll see a 110 power cord, should we have decided to make this a super valve.
Have fun itching.
There's our reference wall. Now let's measure along the inlet wall top plate to the point we'll drill down through the plate to drop the inlet. Mark the drill spot. Now from the other angle, place our multi-spur bit and drill through the top plate.
Make sure you sweep the shavings into the wall when you're done.
Once you've taken away the drill, check inside the wall with a flashlight to see if there are any
You know that
obstructions
if
like
this
fire
video was being
stops
made today,
or
would have
plumbing
to say,
or
be
electrical
sure
cables.
you do not stand on the drywall.
Now we drop
Drywall
enough
will not
low voltage
support
wire
you. Stand
to
on your
reach the
joist.
bottom
No
plate
attics
so
are
you'll have
dangerous.
access to work with. Back downstairs, we're marking for our inlet location using a mounting plate from which we've already trimmed the nailing flange. Again, we'll mark the top and bottom by turning the plate sideways.
You can't eyeball
Then,
that.
after we've cut through the hole, we
Imprecise.
reach through and grasp the low voltage wire.
Yeah.
This should be fed through what will be the lower opening of the mounting plate. Connect the low voltage wire to the inlet valve as usual. The short 90 is already glued in place. Then tilt the top forward to go in, drop it and pull tight.
Dropping snug.
Now, here's how this is done without a mounting bracket. Grasp the inlet valve and open the cover. So with your free hand, you can insert a bent coat hanger through
Or
the
you
valve.
stick your finger through the
to
inlet,
hook
grab
into
on the back of the
bend
short 90,
of the
push them
elbow.
together.
Yeah, the
This
one
will
or two
allow you
times
to
I tried
hold
the
the
hook coat
assembly
hanger. I
while
said,
you
this is
secure
stupid,
everything
this
with the
isn't
first screw to hold the inlet valve in place. Now remove the coat hanger holder, Put in the second screw, and you'll have completed the installation of this valve. Back in the attic, apply glue to the end of the pipe, and because of the restricted height here, we'll need to add a second length of pipe to reach all the way down.
Or you just bend the pipe while you shove it in.
Just cut a hole in the roof.
After you join, look down the pipe as you drop it,
Watch
so you
your
can see the
glue pipe
upturned
fall
short
down
elbow.
into the wall.
Twist it seated, and that's done.
I've actually never done that.
You haven't?
No, knock on wood.
Oh shoot! I
Now, a
just did it
similar
over.
inside the wall run, but from below. Our pilot hole is drilled tight against the baseboard and directly below the center of the inlet location. From below, we can see our bit is clear of obstructions. Now we measure from the bit back the thickness of both the baseboard and the drywall to find and mark the edge of the bottom plate. Handy tip here, use a short
That
cutting
does
2x4
actually help.
and mark lines
When I
to
first
indicate
started,
placement of the
it
bottom
did make
plate.
it easier to like understand where the wall would be.
It does, yeah.
But then I just realized that if I know where the edge is, I can just
Drill
drill from
part
there.
way only.
I'm always drilling
You'll
down
want
at
to
an
stop
angle,
in
so I have
time
to
to
kinda
check that the
estimate
change in the
where
grade in the
that bit
hole
came through.
indicates you're through the flooring into the plate and that you're completely within the plate.
Yeah, that
Then you
is
can go
important.
ahead and finish the hole up through the
I think
bottom
it's such
plate.
an insignificant amount though that's coming at an angle, it really doesn't matter.
Next, use the length of pipe
Yeah,
to
it is
probe for possible obstructions.
Plot twist. One time I did that, I thought I was clear
Then
the whole way
insert a low
out. I hit
voltage wire with a
firewall.
hook on it
Oopsie
to
daisy.
hold it
And
within
like,
the
but it
wall.
was horrible because I had an 8-foot piece
So
of
that you
pipe.
can
I
reach it
shoved
from
it up
above.
and boom!
From here,
and
you
it
should be
bammed
pretty
against it
familiar.
and came back
The low
down.
voltage wire runs through the lower opening of the mounting plate,
And into the wrong.
connects to the inlet
Into the
valve,
wrong
which
opening.
goes top forward into the opening to be dropped and snugged in action just about like this.
And they fixed it.
Top up, down and snug. Grasp the valve and open the cover.
I just love for that ring to fall off into the inlet.
Yeah. I actually usually bring my wire
Insert
in
the
the top
coat hanger
when it's
holder
downward,
next.
just so it doesn't get
Hook
pinched
it around
by
the
pipe.
bend
yeah.
in the short 90 and hold
When we're on
everything
vacuum valve,
until you
it's
can get the
always on
first
top anyway.
inlet valve
Oh, yeah.
mounting plate screw tightened.
Do you think he's like you and I, where we forgot the coat hanger, so he had to ask somebody on set for the coat hanger?
Yeah.
Now you'll install the remaining screw.
Or raid one from the closet you're installing the pipe through.
Yeah. Plot twist though, and nobody has wire coat hangers anymore.
No, I know.
And from
realized
below
that.
again, fit the pipe up.
And it was uncomfortable.
Then the sweep 90 that'll turn your line toward the main line. Professionals always cable tie every 4 to 5 feet along every line.
The central vacuum ain't just stapled all their wire.
Cold air ducts. They present opportunities too often missed. Here's how they work. This duct runs across a finished part of the basement. Begin by removing the sheet metal end cap, and then run a pipe with a sweep 90, a short riser, and a low voltage wire attached. Push it all the way to the end of this
You
duct.
know, I do this kind of thing, but you know what I always worry about? What happens when the duct cleaners come? And run
Service
those
call.
big brushes. To
Back upstairs, it's time to take out the 2 screws that typically hold a grill like this in place. When the grill's off, we're going to run the pipe up the duct, and rather than straight up to the space above it, we'll go sideways through the stud and locate the inlet in the space to the right of the grill.
I did that.
Now
John's
reach
old
in,
house
here's the view
too.
down the
I
duct,
wish that-
and grab the
Oh,
wire. Pull it up above, and now a short illustration of the advantage of the right angle drive
The only
drill.
problem when you do it this way is you're
You start the drill in the center of that
Yeah.
stud to the right.
I guess you
Well,
just
you're
do it.
measuring
Whatever
the center height
height
of
from the
the
floor
whole
you
area,
now
so-
drill
Well, yeah.
will be the height of
Or
the
you just put it
inlet you're
above the
about to
coil
place.
term.
There you go. Yeah, why are they going through
Next,
this stuff?
measure the height of the center of that hole in
Makes
the
people always
stud.
put furniture from the coil return.
Move over past the stud and mark the same height on the wall.
Okay, but he's going towards the corner of the room and not towards the doorway.
Again, you're outlining your cut with the trimmed mounting plate.
I don't know.
Ask him.
I tried to connect with him on LinkedIn. He wouldn't accept.
Really?
Yes.
Cut the opening with your jab saw, and you'll pass the low voltage wire you retrieved from the duct through to the new opening. Now notice the 90 in the back of that mounting plate. It's glued at right angles. The standard low voltage inlet valve connection first, and now watch this action.
Okay,
The
great.
90 goes in vertically, then you turn the plate to angle
The first
the
time I
90
did this, I
toward
was
the
shocked
hole.
it actually
Filled
would
up and
fit
snug it
into
in.
the wall because with that way.
We can't resist using one of these Hayden mounting brackets. They're
We
so much
very-
easier than the coat hanger handful.
But we think we agree with
Once
Joe
the two
Crawford.
screws are in, the
No
rest will
wire
become routine.
hangers.
No.
Use the
Snug in
Hayden
the valve
lock.
and
That's
secure
right.
with color-matched screws.
Nah, that's white, just the lighting.
Are you sure?
That looks gray.
It does look great. Can you
Now to fit the
tighten
line,
that lower
a short
screw?
plate
YouTube,
with
is
a
that
bolt and
gray?
a short 90 on the back of the mounting plate, and a
Comment
smooth
below.
90 on this end. Now we take our glue,
Yeah, this
apply
was
a
like that
generous
black
amount of
and
the riser
gold
that
or
we left
blue
sitting
and
in the
black
duct,
dress.
and we'll
Yeah.
snug the riser up onto the sweep 90. Now back to the basement. First, we'll dry fit to the main line. This will allow us to measure from the floor joist and from the flooring above to the center of the pipe in each case, and know where to cut a corresponding hole in the sheet
use a
metal
vinyl
end
hole
cap
saw.
we removed earlier.
Yeah.
Now we can reinstall the cap, fitting low voltage and branch line through the end cap hole. Carefully, so we won't damage the wire insulation on the sharp edge of the end cap.
Not once was a hole saw
Then we
used in this
refit the
whole
line,
video.
and upstairs we'll finish by replacing the cold air return grill. Let's suppose from the attic you need a branch down not just one floor, but a branch that will jog
I'm logging
and
out
go
at
down a
this point.
second
Yeah,
level
kill yourself.
for an
Buy an
inlet
Eli.
in the basement near the floor. It can be done, and Ted will break this down step by step. Again, you need a reference
This is the
point,
kind
short
of
end of
stuff
the
you
wall
have
in
to
the
do when
hall
you sell
here.
a system.
Begin
without
by
ever going
locating
to the house.
studs and the space between them.
Or before you figure out that you can do the
When
entire
you found your
house.
space, you measure
Uh-huh.
from the reference
Oh,
wall
okay.
and
You started
remember
those
the
two, and that's
measure.
our oh
As you go
god,
to
we
the
can't.
attic
Oh,
to
you
the
already cut the hole. Well, we'll figure it out from here.
Okay, we're in it to win it.
This is when you
Again,
just
remove
put
the insulation
a
to
yellow
expose the
jacket in
top
the
plate.
closet
There's the
downstairs.
short
Yeah.
reference wall.
It's still a central vac.
There's the other one from the other side, by the way. Now we're seeing the plate of the wall we'll drop our vacuum line through.
Oh, and wear loafers. They're
Yes.
great for crawling through attics.
Yeah.
They offer a lot of arch support when you're kneeling.
Again, we
On
measure our
wood.
distance from our reference
Well,
wall
your trousers will cushion.
and mark the
too.
drill
true.
spot. Now from the other angle. We're beginning with just one extension because we have limited headroom.
Look, I've drilled a fire blocks.
You drill the
with,
top plate.
3 quick click extensions,
Then
and that
take
was
your bit out
horrifying.
and use your flashlight to
Yeah, I
look into
can't
the wall
imagine.
for obstacles. You're clear, so add extensions carefully as you go. If you drop an extension, getting it back can be frustrating.
Okay, you're not going to get it back.
Nope.
You're going to go pay
This
the tool store
two-story
you
jog
rented
is
them
required
from
in less than
lost
1% of
Yep.
all installations,
Or you're gonna
but
cut
the
a hole in the
process
wall
is very
just
straightforward.
Fish the extension out and drill the
When
bottom.
you've
that
dropped
way.
your bit to the bottom plate, take your flashlight again and center the bit. Then twist it to set it into the plate in the center.
That did not do a thing.
Now drill again. Extension bit wobble is
Look at that.
normal. Steady,
Oh my
medium
God.
pressure, and
Can
the
you
bit will
imagine
pull
being
itself
downstairs and hearing that thing hitting the wall?
through.
Yeah.
Keep the bit turning as you extract it.
Whoops! Didn't see that Romex right below that wall.
Let me ask you this.
Now
What do
you
you do
remove
when you
your
do
drill
that,
and extensions section
and
by
suddenly
section.
you find
from the wall.
out
Then take a
there's
length
an
of
air
pipe
duct
with a
under
low
there.
voltage wire
You go
cable
home.
tied
You
to
just
it
pack up
and
and leave.
begin lowering the pipe.
or do they just not have
Again,
an air
because
duct
of
there
limited
anymore?
headroom,
Right.
you'll
Oh,
have
no.
to do this in sections.
Don't need that.
I mean, I give him credit that he actually
Now use your flashlight to
Shows it.
find the hole for the
you have to
pipe in
glue
the
the
bottom
pipes in
plate
sections, like you have to do all
and
these
rest the
things.
pipe
Yeah.
for a moment.
I give him credit for that. Just leave
Now on the
pipe
main
there.
floor,
Okay.
your measurement from the reference wall will tell you how far back you'll need to remove
Just
the carpet.
punch the pipe down through the ceiling, and that's where your inlet goes.
We'll part the carpet where it has been joined at
I love
the
a nice
doorway.
ceiling inlet.
Typical
Yeah.
spot
Nice
for a
vaulted
seam.
ceiling.
We're using our utility knife to cut through the seam, cutting exactly where the carpet's been joined.
That's what
We're
everyone
showing
does
you the
handy
most
12 foot
difficult
hose extensions,
scenario.
You just leave a plug
There are
in the
other
ceiling.
easier
right,
ways.
yeah.
Now, gently but firmly, pull the carpet up and away from the carpet.
We
first.
Firmly grasp it!
Firmly. We do this all
Be sure
the
you
time.
remove the carpet
don't
back well past the point
Who
you
has
measured for your
carpets?
inlet
Don't
location.
and don't you keep your carpet seaming iron on the truck?
Always. I got a new Milwaukee
Next, remove
M18
your
one.
undercushion.
Ooh, nice.
Take care here because it
Actually,
will have been
my
stapled
carpet
in place
seaming
and
iron
you'll want
is
to avoid
my
tearing.
$5
This
Harbor
tongue and
Freight
groove
heat
joint
gun.
and this row of nails will
Catch
be
the carpet
boundaries
on
for the
fire
section
with
of
that.
flooring we'll remove. With a straight edge, we'll draw our saw line over the center of the row of nails. We'll do the same a couple of joists up. And this time we're on
Yeah,
the other
no,
side of the
no.
root of our branch line. We know from our reference measure our branch line route is between these two lines.
And this is all to suck all the dirt up 2 stories
Next,
to the attic.
with a nail puller, remove the nails that hold down the section of floor we want to cut out. Double check to be sure you get all of them so you don't saw through any.
With an Airmaster with a 334 motor.
Now set your saw blade depth. It should be just nicely cutting through the thickness of the flooring and not much more.
And not
Line
throwing
up the
that
saw blade over the line and with the
Right.
saw running,
Surprise, there
lower
was
the
a
blade
water pipe
slowly to
down
begin
there.
your cut. This joist is cut away to show our camera a better view.
Really?
And toward the end of this cut, tilt up to get over the carpet tack strip.
I would love to see this being done with modern tools like a sawzall.
What you're doing
and
is
also
cutting
an
along the
absolute
center
tool.
of each joist. And in the last cut, your saw guide runs along the edge of the carpet tack
That's a
strip.
smart idea.
At the corners, chisel the wood your rotary blade couldn't fully cut through.
And at this point, the homeowner comes home and
Then you'll
wonders
use
what
the
they're
chisel to
doing.
begin lifting
Who
the
the hell are you
rectangle of
doing?
flooring away. Then pull the section away from the tongue and groove joint, the one we didn't have cut.
This
Also,
is
is it
the-
most
Expose
subfloor
the ceiling
glued now?
and the top plates of walls in the basement.
Messy.
We're looking for a
Ted, I
basement
think we're in
reference
the wrong
wall.
house. It's the house next door
Here's
that
one.
ordered the
The
vacuum.
short wall off the main wall, we can run our branch line down. The short wall's
Also,
our reference
love
wall to the
that
main
just
wall.
add that. Oh, yeah,
Now in the
we know there's a
basement, we want
reference
an
wall.
inlet, say, 6
we
inches
know,
from
we
the
know
end
that
of this
we're, it's
main
we're even
Yes,
there's a
it's
wall under
clear
here.
studs there. The reference wall is, say, 9 inches back from the end of the main wall. So back upstairs, we'll go 6 inches back from the end of the main wall, and to confirm, 3 inches this side of the reference wall. Now we can begin the drop to the basement by drilling our spot. Again, steady, even pressure, and as usual, this is a double top plate to go through. Our flashlight check indicates an obstacle, a 2x4, too close to be a bottom plate.
Also, always
It
make
is a
sure
fire
you drill
block
this
that will
hole
have to
on
be
center,
drilled
because
through with
otherwise
our
it makes
drill
it
bit
very
extensions.
difficult to drop
Again,
the pipe
gentle
into
pressure
the mounting
and
plate
let the
down
bit
below.
pull
Oh
itself
yeah,
through.
well don't tell him that. You want him to miss all the fun.
Other fun thing?
Look down and see if you can see
Get
any
steel pipe in your
obstacles
truck.
below the
Just
fire
knock
block.
that fire
Then
block right out of there.
take the low
Yep.
voltage wire from the end of the
Guilty.
pipe you dropped from the attic and pull down enough wire to extend the wire down the
If you
basement
want your
wall
house
to the
burned down,
location of the inlet
That's-
in the bottom level.
It's so easy.
If you
You'll
want to
hook
have
the low
money, stop
voltage
being
wire
poor.
over the
Yeah,
end of a length
so
of
easy.
pipe and begin lowering the pipe.
Also, just wrap a wrench around the other
It'll go
pipe
down first
or
through
your
the hole you drilled through the
non-contact
fiber block.
voltage detector and throw it down to the hole and just keep going.
Just yeah.
And once there, straight down to the bottom.
You can tell this is the last one because they don't clean
Now
out
at
the
the
wood
bottom,
chips
you'll want
anymore.
to dislodge the low voltage
Ted's gone
wire
through 3 of those
and leave
shirts.
it there as you remove the pipe. Now in the basement, we're ready to mount our inlet valve. We begin by finding the height we require. Then the 6-inch distance from the wall. We mark and cut. And now we can retrieve our low voltage wire.
Hopefully you're in the right
After the
stud.
usual
mate.
connections
Yeah.
to the inlet valve, we tilt our trim plate forward to go through and drop in snug.
Drop and snug.
I just want to see him just
We've hooked the
grab
length of coat hanger here.
grab
to
the
do this
mounting
one
plate with
without a
his
special
index
mounting
finger.
bracket.
Just be like, you just do
Holding
it
until we
this way.
secure everything with the first inlet valve screw.
Where all those calluses on his knuckles came from.
That's yeah. Coat hangers are pilot bits. They're not supposed to have a hook on them.
Now,
Can you imagine
Driving
giving him
the
an
other
M18?
screw.
Can you imagine going back in time to
And
1980
we're
and
finished
getting
in
him
the
an
basement.
M18 Super Hog and be like, here, have fun.
Yep.
upstairs we glue the end of a length of pipe and prepare to lower it down the basement wall.
I hope he's staying on a top plate.
We'll use a flashlight again to see the route through the fire block to the short 90 on the back of the mounting plate in the wall below. Now we fit the connections between the pipe down from the attic and the pipe up from the basement. There'll be a sweep 90 on each end of a short pipe. Now to replace the floor. We're applying some wood glue here, although this floor has not been previously glued. This will more than compensate for any weakness we've caused with our cuts, and the floor will never squeak in this spot now. You can see here how the saw ran along the center of the joist as we made our initial cut.
Into it.
Oh, this is how a central vac improves the resale value.
That's right.
As you replace the floor section, you'll need to gently tap to join the tongue and groove again.
Do you know how many times I would have sworn while doing this?
Along the joist,
Oh my
toenail
God.
on both sides of the cut.
Also, I can't drive in nails like that.
No. You don't have TED skills. It's because you don't wear loafers to the job site.
It's wide, obviously.
Staple the undercushion as you replace it, and then draw the carpet back into position.
You can tell that's a really expensive carpet.
Now you must take a hot
Sure, it's
carpet
pure
iron
wool.
and remove the existing carpet tape. If you don't, if you were to apply your tape over the old tape, you'd leave a ridge where the carpet would wear too quickly.
Is that the worst thing that's going to happen to that
This
carpet?
just
Probably
pulls
not.
away when it's warmed enough, and be sure to do both sides of the seam. Then insert a new carpet tape under your joint, half beneath each
Oh,
side
I
of your
carry
seam.
carpet tape, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now we need to go around the edges of this hallway and fit the carpet tightly into position, onto the tack strip and beneath the baseboard.
Yeah, no.
Now we've tucked the hot iron under the seam, and we're just inching it along so we can heat the tape below to make it sticky. Behind the iron, we'll draw the carpet edge together to a smooth joint, and we can trim the stray fibers later. Let it sit here a second or two to heat the end, and we finish the job. We're only doing this seam because the basement wall we needed was below the hall. In almost any other room, we could have pulled the carpet back from a corner as far as necessary to get access without cutting the carpet. Now here's what we've done. The inlet is in the basement.
And wasted
The
a
pipe
whole
runs
lot
up
of
the
time.
basement wall, jogs over beneath the floor, and goes up again to the attic. Now connect this two-story branch line to the main line, and your inlet installation will be complete.
And you got 7 more to do like that.
Now let's go back and see how super valve would fit in some of these
You
applications.
shove the box in.
This too
It's the
is
same thing.
straightforward. This is our installation of branch line from the attic, only now we're running both low voltage and 110 wire down the wall. You'll recall we already located a source of 110 power to connect to in the attic. The jab saw will cut our rectangular hole as usual. The super valve mounting plate trims in the same manner. We'll insert a wire connector. And now we can draw both wires from the wall cavity, the low voltage and the 110. We strip and bare the ends of both. The 110 goes through the connector on the electrical box.
I've never been able to get a super valve
We'll
through
glue the short 90 to the mounting plate so that it will face
string
upward.
relief installed.
No?
I've
And
always
the
had
action
to
will be down as
pull
the
the
box
wire
goes
tight and
in
shove
and
it
the
in.
plate with it.
Oh, wow.
because
And
it
then
would
draw it
not
snug.
fit.
Note the low voltage wire comes out of the
The
plate
box
through
barely
the upper
fits in the
opening,
wall as it
and
is.
we'll
Yeah.
use a mounting bracket, which is standard equipment with a super valve assembly.
Yeah, the new worthless kind.
From the attic, fitting the pipes identical. Fit again in sections because of the limited headroom.
Look at all the stuff on the floor. Yeah.
And twist the pipe to snug it. The connections are the same, 110 at the bottom
I mean,
this
they
time,
just
low
showed
voltage
that
at the
him
top.
snugging the pipe in there without
In
the
existing
lid on.
construction,
It tells you
when the
just how
branch line
heavy
comes
those
down from
old
above,
wall
your only choice is
things
to
were.
put the
Oh,
electrical
man.
box at the
Yeah.
bottom.
Yeah, you can't do that without putting the inlet on.
There's the finished installation. Now, coming up from the basement, the action into the wall is up as you
Catch
go
that?
in, then
Ivory
snug.
plate, white outlet. White.
And the box here will be on the top since the pipe is going down. Run the pipe up from below and fit your connections to the main line. The low voltage will run along the pipe. Now, here's how we're running the 110 over to a source of power. Here the power wire comes from the left of the box, the
Yeah,
wire
me
to the
too.
right's for a switch to turn off the light. We've run our 110 wire in the middle, and we wind our ground with their grounds.
Now, only time you
The
can
black
use
to
the
black rule
power
varies
head
here because
upstairs
the
is when
black
you turn
power
the
source
basement
wire
lights
is
on.
connected to the white of the wire to the switch. We connect our black to the black from the power source. Your local electrical code can guide you on this.
You hope.
Yeah.
We connect our white with the whites from the power wire and the light fixture. Then put back the fixture, and here's the inlet finished from the basement up. And remember our inlet connected through the wall from the closet? Here's how a super valve would look. Now a few special applications. For instance, when walls aren't standard. A standard stud is a 2x4, just over 3.5 inches wide. But in some areas, interior walls are 2x3, or just over 2.5 inches wide.
Those areas don't buy central
2x3 walls require special fittings. The applications are similar, the sizes are different. Compare a 2x3 mounting plate with this regular mounting plate on the right. The regular spigot is 3/4 of an inch long. The 2x3 just 1/4. If we were to use a regular short 90 elbow, its hub will fit the regular spigot, but it's too wide for this wall. The solution is this special short 90, shorter hub.
I've only
It
seen
fits the
one
wall.
of those.
Compare connections. The pipe fits inside the regular 90 elbow
or
hub.
just a loose fitting?
No,
The
just
special
something
90,
it
the
was
pipe
loose fitting.
slides
Yeah, me
over.
too.
There is no bulky hub.
That's like a vacuum flow.
Further to
Black &
this,
Decker elbow.
when we put the special 90 on a special mounting plate, we find the screw anchor is in the way. We'll have to snip it off before we can slip the pipe over the fitting. You'll need to remember to
You know,
snip
in new
off the regular
construction, wouldn't you
screws
just pick
supplied
a
with the
different
inlet
wall?
valves, or use shorter screws
Oh,
so
if
your
those are your
screws
only
don't hook to
if
the
those are
pipe.
your only interior walls.
Let's change application.
Then the inlet
Suppose you
flow
have a
on the
vertical
exterior.
main line down from the attic to the basement. Use a special short hub T.
I love the fact that he thought there would be enough people that he made a fitting just for this instead of saying
And now
use
you'll
a
need to trim
Y
the upper screw anchor
Yeah.
as well.
or a 90 or T. I mean, I'm sure it
Now
was just a
install the
different
riser to
insert
extend
in
your
the
line.
molding machine.
Yeah,
But still, it's just another SKU that makes no
There's the
sense
job
whatsoever.
finished.
sure.
For super valves, the box is the same size
God, a
and fits
2x3
well within the
super
narrow
valve.
walls.
Now show us how to retrofit that, Ted.
Fast look at a finished wall installation. We
Oh.
locate and cut the drywall
Well,
hole.
I don't know if they do super valve with this.
The mounting plate
You
flange trims with just the same ease as with regular
I
mounting
guess if you
plates.
disassembled the valve.
I just disassembled the wall.
Run your low voltage wire
Or someone with a
and
cord,
retrieve it.
even though you have to
And
high,
as you
high
bring it
and
through
low for
the
a place to
bottom
plug it
opening
in.
of the plate and make normal electrical connections to the inlet valve. Same action as before, but remember to use a special short 90 and a regular mounting plate. Run regular pipe, glued applied inside over the special 90 elbow. Regular screws snipped short to hold the valve. We're back to a regular wall again. This is a vertical main line.
No mention
now
of a
watch
super
this
valve.
possibility. We can make this short T fitting serve two inlets. We turn it around, put a second mounting plate on the other side of the wall. This is a branch line now, running down,
Yeah, but
although it
don't
could
do
also
that.
run
Don't
up.
ever do that.
Sometimes you can use the space beside a furnace chimney or B-vent to run a vacuum line, if you take a little care. The B-vent runs from the furnace up to the roof and can be used when, say, you must get your main line to the attic. But use metal pipe from any automotive muffler shop and check your building code. Some homes have shafts built in as laundry chutes. You can run your vacuum line up the chute. Sometimes walls are built one right over the other, stacked as it were. Then your main line can run up both walls, although you'll need lots of extension bits to drill this.
Never.
Never.
And curved or circular staircases that have become popular often have curved walls with them. And there's often lots of space in a hollow behind the curve
That
for
does
your
work.
vacuum line.
It does.
You can look at top plates in the attic to judge the size of the hollows available for running your vacuum lines. Now a word about the company that makes your fittings and which has produced this tape. You're looking at the finest plastic injection molding machines in the world. Multi-cavity tools produce parts 24 hours a day. Computer-generated graphics are created to
Oh my
explain
God,
our
the
products
cutting
to
edge.
consumers and support dealers in the front line of our industry.
The flames.
And soon, the parts we manufacture will be handled by robots to increase our productivity and enhance our quality control.
They took our jobs.
We warehouse perhaps 20 million individual components for customers around the world. You're using the finest fittings anywhere as you install your vacuum system. So to conclude, a checklist. Can all areas of your home be reached with your hose from the inlet locations you've chosen? Is there an electrical outlet near your power unit? And is that outlet on a separate circuit as is preferable? Do all your T's sweep toward the power unit so your system will clean without clogging? Are all your low voltage connections secure so your machine will turn on when you plug in your hose? And finally, are all your pipe fittings glued?
Well, that's it. The only other thing you require as you're
Wardrobe
installing your
change.
system is a little imagination. So take some time now. Plan your system well. Because what you do today will benefit you for as long as you live in your home. And the only easier way to clean your home will be to have somebody else do it for you.
And my diamond Rolex and diamond ring tell you that I definitely have somebody else do it for me.
That's right. In my home, I share in the housework.
I also tell the housekeeper when to start cleaning.
Yes.
Thank you for watching, guys. Please tell us what your favorite part was in the comments below.